Hello everyone, thank you for joining us today for the 12th edition of CoveritLive University, our web series. My name is Spencer Kittler and I'm the Customer Success Manager here at CoveritLive. We appreciate you joining us today for the latest webinar. We look forward to sharing with you information on best ideas and methods for embedding content in your live events. Before we get started, I want to provide a brief overview of this webinar. We expect it to last between 20 and 30 minutes, and at the conclusion we'll take questions which can be sent in via the WebEx client chat window, which is the green box at the top of your screen. Additionally, if you have any questions during the presentation, you can send those through that same chat window, and members of our team will answer as many questions as you send them during the event. Very soon, probably tomorrow, this event will be posted online at CoveritLive.com under the CoveritLive University link. You'll also receive an email when it's available. I would remind you that you can email us at any time at support@CoveritLive.com, or you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at CoveritLive. Now I'd like to introduce the host of today's webinar, the General Manager of CoveritLive, Tim Snyder.
Thanks, Spencer, and thanks everyone for taking the time today to join us for the 12th session of CoveritLive University. One of the things that we hear a lot, we get a lot of questions around, can I embed a video player, can I embed certain types of content that are more than just text? And so we thought it would be good to do a session on examples of different types of content that you can embed in your live events and different ways in which you can do that. So we'll cover a number of things, including third-party video players, how the bind support works, it's built into CoveritLive, as well as audio players, document libraries like Scribd, and Google Maps, Google Charts, other things like that. We'll show some of those examples, as well as ways that you can use them directly in your event, as well as from the media library to have them queued up and ready in advance. We'll also walk through what you can use, how you can use some of the RSS capabilities inside the Event Studio to bring in other types of content, such as Pinterest, Facebook, Tumblr, or any other sort of content that you have an RSS feed access to, in addition to all the things that you can already do directly in the platform with Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, and others. So we'll jump in, and we'll spend most of the time actually showing some of the examples, but we'll walk through a few first and kind of lay out what will be some of what we'll walk through. So one of the key things that you can do is deliver third-party content. And with some upcoming functionality we have, you'll be able to even feature this content more prominently in your events if you so desire. But one key thing to note is that the CoveritLive, from the producer or panelist window, you can embed pretty much any type of video player. Very common players such as YouTube, obviously Vimeo, Cove are all great examples of players that can be embedded, but even most of your own proprietary or native video players, if your organization has built their own, or if you use another system not mentioned here, virtually any type of video player will work and can be embedded to show that content directly in line inside the CoveritLive event. If for some reason you've tried one and you've had a problem or you found that yours isn't supported, please let us know through support@CoveritLive.com and we can check into it more. But I'll show you a few examples of this now. So first we're going to dive into our CoveritLive demo event that we use in our CIL University sessions. You can see the live event there on the left, but I've also got a version running on side of our sample cover page here, where we can see some of the new content coming in laid out as if it were a news page, and mainly Twitter content right now. Now I've queued up a number of samples of these different types of embeds that way I can copy and paste them very quickly during the course of our session. But I'll show you an example of where some of these come from. Let's say that I want to grab a video from Cove. And here's an example they've got on their site with the campaign they've done with Puma. If I want to grab this video, I can simply grab the embed code that's built into the video player for that particular site. And I've already done that here. All I have to do as a producer or panelist is copy and paste that into the event and post it as essentially a piece of content. Once upon doing that, it's embedded natively, and it can play directly from within the player and from within the CoveritLive viewing experience. If I jump back over to our channel page example here, we'll see there's a new item. We'll check it out. And then we'll have our video content load where it can be played in line and where it can be seen in line. So most video players work very similarly to this. Even if you're not using Cove, if you're using something else, say a Vimeo example, or again, any other sort of embedded video player, you can also put those in just as easily. Now users or viewers, your audience members or readers, live readers, cannot embed video, and that's for protection to make sure they don't do anything malicious. But somebody who's using a producer or panelist access to can embed rich types of content in all the examples that we'll show today. Another thing that you can note is, in case you don't want to go copy and paste it during the live event, or you know that you're going to share some video up front and you already know what the location that is, you don't have to wait until the actual event starts in order to do that. You can actually have it set up in the media library ahead of time. So I'm going to jump into the media library, and I've already created a few examples. We'll add another one. So from within pre-written text, for example, I can select that I want to add new text to the folder, but it doesn't have to be just plain text. It can actually be the code, the embed code of any one of these formats that we'll show today. So let's take our example from Brightcove and Puma. If I spell it right, I can paste that embed code there and save it. You'll notice that I have a number of other embeds that I've already saved and put in advance for the session today. So a number of the other examples that I'll show, I'll pull from the media library and do a mix of pasting them directly into the event as well as pulling from the media library. Whenever I jump back into the event studio, if I click on media, and go into my pre-written text, the examples that I have uploaded and that I've already created ahead of time will load. Now I've got a lot of windows open, and obviously we're running over the WebEx. It'll take a second for a few of these to come in, but now you can see our Brightcove video is right there. I've also got some other examples which I'll come back to in just a bit. So if I want to publish that, I can do it directly from within, just like you can any other piece of content. I can now publish it directly from the media library and into the event studio. And into the live event. So I can have these particular types of video embeds or these pieces of content already and queued up, and then just at the right time I can put them inside the event. I can also do things like tag them and have them held up inside the smart screen for just the right time and retrieve them only whenever I'm ready. Using my filtering, I can go find how I tagged the item, what color I gave it, and then be ready to produce it just whenever it's the right time. One other quick thing you'll notice, in a recent update, we added the ability for you to reverse the items or change the sort order in which items are displayed in the smart screen. So we'll take a quick side note just to show you and make sure you're aware of this functionality. So depending upon how you're running your event, whether you're running it to publish most of the comments that are written or whether you're running it more as a question and answer style, you have the opportunity to decide what order you want to see things in the smart screen. So that makes it easier for you to see the oldest items if you want to try and publish as many of them as you can. Or, if you're really only concerned about the most recent content because things are changing and happening quickly and you want to publish just the things that have been done most recently, then you can keep the newest at the top. So depending upon your preference or what the nature of the event is, you can rearrange those items in the smart screen now on the fly. So we'll jump into one other example real quick, and let's say, to show another video embed, I have a Vimeo example from, we'll pull one of their staff pics, and I want to embed that inside my event so that way my users can see it. We'll grab that quick embed. We'll paste that one into the event. You'll notice it includes all the attribution and all the other info that comes with a standard embed for the Vimeo video. And there it is included in my event. One other thing that you'll notice is, in addition to embedding videos, just as a reminder, you have the ability to queue up and have YouTube videos as an embed as well, just in the same format as you do these, but you can also search for YouTube content on the fly and pull things live directly from YouTube. So let's say I'm trying to find a video about the NFL or some recent event that's happening. Then I can find those, search for what I want, even do a quick preview before publishing it, and then tag it to the smart screen and queue it for later, or I can publish it directly into the event. So for YouTube videos, which is one of the most common types of embed that we see, you can do that directly from the event studio. But if you want to find those outside of the event studio, save that embed code and include it later, you can do that as well, just as you have with these other examples that I've shown. One other quick thing to note is another improvement that we recently made that you may not be aware of with regard to YouTube videos is the fact that you now have the option to turn on or off whether or not you want them to autoplay. If you hit Settings from the Event Studio, you'll see there's now a toggle to turn YouTube autoplay on or off. And we know that this varies greatly depending upon the type of event and what type of content you're including. If you're publishing multiple videos at one time, as examples that you want to reference for people, you probably want autoplay off, so that way on their own time and as they're seeing the viewing experience, they can on their own decide when they want to play it. If you were to publish multiple videos within a short amount of time and have autoplay on, they will all be playing at the same time. The audio will overlap, obviously people won't be paying attention, and you'll have a very difficult time seeing them all at one time. So we'd recommend you turn it off. However, we know there's cases where a lot of time a YouTube video is being played for a sponsorship, or an advertisement, or to feature a product that's being used throughout the event, and in that case you want the autoplay to come on. So now you have the option to turn that on or off and control that yourself. Jumping back over to existing content types and before we end video, one other example I want to show really quickly is Vine integration. Now, if you've worked at CoveritLive very much, you know there's a great deal that you can do with Twitter, including having content automatically published into the event, whether it's from specific users or lists. You have the ability to moderate that content into the smart stream first, so whether you want to review the content and then decide what you want to approve and have it flow to the smart stream, which is what I have happening right now, or whether you want to publish it directly into the event unmoderated, you have those options and can control those here. You also have the ability to indicate whether or not you want to include images or links, and whether or not users or lists must also include a specific keyword or hashtag before being published. So a great deal of flexibility, all of those that you can set up on any of the entries that you include, and you can do these same setups for a keyword, as well as include our top tweets filter and indicating whether or not you want us to automatically filter some of the Twitter content. But another thing to keep in mind with regard to video in Twitter is that there is Vine support from within CoveritLive. And this is very simple. All you have to do is post a Vine link. I went ahead and grabbed one up front that I thought was kind of cool. If you simply paste that Vine link as your piece of content into the event, CoveritLive will recognize that it's Vine, and it will play it and show it in line. We'll get a bigger view here in our demo ticker. So there you can see that the full video is seen taking up as much space as is allowed for the event. The user can click to have it start playing, and then they can see the Vine video embedded right there in your event natively. They don't have to click or open a new window or go off to another site, but they do have reference to all the full information about the Vine entry from that entry as well. So if you're using a lot of Vine videos, your very short clips that you want to include, that's a very, very easy way to do it. We in the future want to introduce and plan to introduce the ability for you to search specifically for Vine content just like you can Twitter, with a lot of the same different filters and functionality that you can for regular Twitter searches. And as soon as that is supported well by the Vine API and the combination of the Twitter API, we'll be introducing that. Some of our early tests have shown that it's not quite as robust as the regular Twitter search from the API standpoint, and so we don't have access to search capabilities for that for Vine yet, but we will be introducing that as they become available and make those available to you. So we've talked through a lot of different types of video players, shown a number of different examples, and also covered Vine and what you can do and how it's natively supported within the platform. Again, if you have a video player that we haven't talked about or that you've tried and run into an issue with, we'd love to hear about it because virtually every video player should be supported. But it doesn't stop at video. You can also incorporate audio content. There's a number of great examples such as SoundCloud or AudioBoo, and I'll show a few of those as well. You can include audio clips, for example, from an interview or journalist in the field. Maybe you want to embed music. Maybe you're having a Name That Tune contest. Maybe it's fun, maybe it's serious and informative. Whatever it may be, you could use a number of these types of services to embed their native players inside the CoveritLive event. It works very similar to what we showed with the video. So we'll jump back into our event. I'll grab a quick example. We'll start with a SoundCloud. I'll go ahead and publish that, and while that's publishing, I'll show you an update here. This example that I pulled is from Andrew Bird and listing some of his tracks. And so just simply grab the embed that SoundCloud makes available And here you can see there it is, represented natively inside the CoveritLive event. You can see the tracks, you can see the album, whatever information is included depending upon the type of SoundCloud example that it is. If it's a single track or just an interview or a single audio clip, then it will look different, and that's all depending upon which embed that you grab from their site. But again, it's very simple to paste it in, and just like with video, you can have these pre-populated inside the media library and then published. And for our next example using AudioView, I'll do that. From AudioView, we have an example of a recent tribute to Kid Craddock, who was a radio personality, very popular, recently passed away, and they've been doing some tributes. And say you want to feature that in one of your live events, maybe you want to have a discussion, something like that, you can do that as well. Again, copy and paste the embed as we have in our previous examples, or in this case, I'll grab the media library, pre-written example that I've already created. Oh, and maybe I skipped over this one, so we'll actually just grab the embed. I thought I pre-created and saved that one, but I see just about every other example there except this one. So we'll just go ahead and embed it natively, and I'll show you from the media library on our next couple of examples. So now we've embedded an AudioView example. It will also display and render once it fully loads. And it's another good example of how you can embed the content natively, whether it's audio or video or whatever type of rich content it may be. We're going to free up a little bit of processing power and shut down a few windows. And also make it easier for me to navigate to some of the other examples. So it doesn't just stop with rich media like video and audio, and obviously photos, which we haven't gone into today, but another form that you can embed natively. It can also include documents, original writings, guides, things that are available through e-readers that are native e-reader embeds. And Scribd is a great example where there's a lot of different things like that that you can do. Maybe it's infographics, or maybe it's something that you specifically published and you want to reference and have a Q&A about. Any number of different things. It's a great service that you can use to have sort of rich documents and text available online, and you can natively embed those and control that reading experience inside the CoveritLive event. So walking through that quick example, I went and grabbed some of their freely available how-to guides, and one in particular that we have included in the event studio. And you can see a little preview of it right here. So the multi-screen day parting playbook by Digital Lab. And this is the example that I'll go ahead and include and we'll embed. I've already got it queued up in the event studio, in my media library, by grabbing that embed code and giving it a title and saving it up front. First, I want to wait and tag it and get it ready to produce at just the right time. Now we'll go locate it by our tags. Give it a second and show all new items, and then publish it. You can see that it's been queued up, and now I've already selected to publish it. I'm ready to go. And if we look back at our channel page, we'll see it included there as well. And again, the exact sizing and the way that these embeds display depends upon the embed code that you grab. Some of them allow you to have 100% or flexible width and height. Some of them make you enter a certain amount. A lot of those things are dependent upon the platform in which you're grabbing the embed code from, and changing those settings before you grab the embed, and then CoveritLive will just automatically be able to include those natively based on whatever those settings are. So again, another great example of how you can embed that content natively. You can make your events richer, and you can share more content with your users. And it's particularly useful if you're doing something that's ongoing. Maybe you're running a Q&A where you want to reference specific things, and it's very useful there. But let's say that you have a persistent channel page or something like that around an ongoing topic, and you want to include things from Twitter, you want to include Instagram photos and videos, but you also want to include other documents to reference maybe audio clips, interviews. All of those things can be embedded, and then they can be persistent on that channel page for anybody to come back and reference, particularly if the event unfolds over several days or weeks. Now, another couple of common examples are things that are available from Google, such as maps or charts and trends. So there's a cool piece, if you're not aware of, around Google Trends, which shows charting of things that are most searched, or around other metrics around things that are popular. And those also can be embedded into live events. They have a great little embed code there available that you can tag and then put that into the event. I'll show you an example of one of those. Well, we're going to grab a top charts example. So if you haven't actually seen it live on Google, here it is. You can go and see their top charts, and you can grab any one of these and then embed them. So as you can see, a lot of this will revolve around current events and different things that are happening. You can see more detail about it. You can grab an embed code, which is what we will do. Here's an example of being able to change some of those settings. We'll do that. It gives us a nice little preview. We're going to copy and paste the code. Put it inside our event. And now we've embedded a Google chart, live updating based on Google Trends, and there's plenty of other examples of other things where these charts come into play, and it's a nice, rich, and engaging thing that you can do to either support something that you're talking about or just give your readers something cool, interesting to look at and discuss whenever you're engaging with them through your live event. Another similar example is for Google Maps. Now, obviously, this can be really great if you're covering a story that has to do with a particular area or that's taking place at some particular location, and you want to feature that and make sure that people can see an example of that. From this example, I've already got one queued up for Wembley Stadium, and we will drop that into our event. Again, you've got all the same features that you do whenever you're doing a regular embed or whenever you're looking at that map natively outside of CoveritLive. Do you want to include a satellite version? Do you want it to be a hybrid or a map version or whatever it may be? Directions outlined on it. Whatever that you've set up from Google, you can simply copy that embed and then paste it directly into your event for your users to reference. So hopefully you have an idea and can see that there's a number of different things. Virtually anything that has a shareable embed code can be embedded inside a CoveritLive event, whether it's video, audio, other types of rich media, interactive maps, and charts. There's great use cases for all of those, depending upon the types of events that you're running. And you have the ability to ingest those directly into the event live or to queue them up and have them ready in your media library so that way whenever you get to the point in the event where you want to introduce them, you can do that. And you can use all the same features with the event studio that you have with other items in the event library, including queuing items to the smart screen using tags, searching, filtering, and finding them on the fly and being able to preview them. And that's in addition to all the native content formats that are supported, such as YouTube, Vine, Twitter, and Instagram. But beyond that, there may be some other areas where there's other types of content that you frequently want to include and want to be able to get to those very easily and quickly because you're going to have multiple entries from them that you want to include in your event. The RSS capability that's built into the Event Studio is a great way to do that. So it allows you to essentially take any sort of RSS feed, and then the Event Studio will show you the content from that RSS feed, and you can publish it into your event. This could be a Tumblr blog, it could be a Pinterest RSS feed, it could be a Facebook RSS feed or a Facebook page, or any other number of different sources. Virtually every platform that has any sort of ongoing publishing capability has some form of RSS feed available for it, and you can use any of those to grab content and very quickly pull it into your event. Another nice feature of the Event Studio is that it will also remember those RSS feeds that you've used, so that way in the future you can come back and get them quickly again. I'll grab a few examples for this. And we'll shut down some of our windows to make it a little easier to get around. So here I have an example of a Pinterest RSS feed, and this is from the Home Inspiration Dining Rooms board. So if I take the RSS off real quick, you can just see what the native page looks like, that you can follow it, etc. Again, a standard, this is the normal Pinterest experience if you were to come directly to this board. Well, virtually any of these have an RSS feed, and you can find it very quickly just by adding RSS onto the end. And then you can take that RSS feed and put it into the Event Studio under Search and then RSS. So you enter your RSS URL, hit Return, and then it will go and pull back the content that is found inside that RSS feed. And it will be based on however that RSS feed is set up, so how much content it covers, how far back it goes, what all is being included. You can see images and titles and however that particular feed is constructed. And again, just like you can with all these other content formats, you can tag it to the smart stream and queue it up for use later, or for a panelist or somebody to review it and then publish it, or you can publish it directly. And so now you can include that content directly from that feed, directly from that source, wherever it may be, and have that feed into your content. And there's a number of great examples of this as well. Another one is Facebook pages. So a lot of times there may be Facebook pages and content that you want to pull in from that selectively. And here's an example for the anthropology page. Anthropology page also has an RSS feed, and I've used it once before already in the Event Studio. So I'll show you an example of going back and reusing that feed. You'll see here that if I have any RSS feeds that I've already added once before, there will be an icon here that shows a drop-down, and once you click that, you can go and see the RSS feeds that you've used in the past. And I have a number of them here. Here's an example from Facebook, and this is the anthropology feed, so I can just click it. I don't have to go refine the feed. I've already used it once. I can just click it and once again start adding content from it. So this is a great way to get content from other sources that may not be natively supported in the Event Studio or don't have an embed option but have an RSS feed option. You can quickly add the feed, and you can quickly review and add multiple pieces of content from those feeds directly into your event. Tumblr is another great example, especially since it's very image-rich, and that's always very appealing in events whenever you run them. You can pull up a Tumblr feed, see the type of content that's in it, pick which ones you want to publish to the event, and go. As we mentioned, we're always expanding the type of features. We talked a little bit about in the future adding bind search capabilities and being able to feature types of content that are rich, like say video or other rich embeds more prominently in your events while the other content is continuing to add. Another feature that we'll have on our roadmap coming is the ability for you to automate some of this RSS feed publication directly into your event. So say you have an RSS feed and you want to queue that up, and you want to have on a certain interval that content automatically published into your event or automatically published to the smart stream for you to review first, you'll have those capabilities just like you can with Twitter and some of the other sources. So that will also add a great deal of flexibility as well. So I know we've covered a lot of different embed types, a lot of different examples. One last thing that I want to point out is that there are two great blog posts available on the CoveritLive site that speak to both of these types of content embeds, whether it's rich media or video or photo or things from Google Maps or RSS. If you check out the CoveritLive blog, in addition to seeing a number of great examples from customers around different types of implementations and what types of events that they're covering and how they're using, you'll also find great tips and tricks around using the product better and becoming more of a power user. So some of those include a lot of the things that we've walked through today, where Joe Renwick, our great product director out of Toronto, has provided a number of examples, walk through how you can find RSS feeds on some of these sources in case you're not sure or haven't done that before, and then provides some examples walking through how to do it. And then there's even an embedded CoveritLive event showing a lot of these same examples that you can look through and browse as well. You can do this also for the RSS, in addition to the video examples that you just showed, you can also do it for the RSS examples too, where she has another blog post. Both of those written in the past month. So if you've missed any of this or want to share with your friends or colleagues or want to recap or revisit some of the information, in addition to this video, which will be available soon online and you can review that way, you'll also have these blog posts as a reference that you can go back to and jump to understand and kind of recap some of this functionality and how to do it. And of course, if you have questions, you can always check out our support center or hit us up at support@CoveritLive.com. So with that, I hope you found the session helpful. I hope you learned some new things that you didn't realize before about maybe different types of content that you can embed, that it's not restricted to just text, and maybe some of the other powerful things that you can do to make your events more engaging and also include other people, or include other types of content, rather, and other sources of content to enliven your event and enrich the experience for your audience. If you've got any questions, again, email us. Make sure to check us out on Twitter and CoveritLive. A lot of these same blog posts will also be pointed out there. And we'll tweet about them. They're also on our Facebook page, and you can see a snippet and a link to it from our Facebook page and get those updates as well. So thanks, everyone, for joining. And at this point, I'll turn it over to Spencer to see if we have any questions that anybody has brought up during the session, and we'll answer those that we can. If there's any we need to follow up on after, we'll do that then.
Yes, please feel free, you can click the green tab at the top of your screen, click on chat, and submit any questions you may have through that client chat window, the WebEx chat. We do have one question from during the chat, and the question was, how do I find out what different video players will work within CoveritLive, or within the event studio?
That's a great question, and the short answer is virtually every video player will work. Unless it's something that's very, very custom and very obscure that we haven't heard of before. There's no known cases of any particular type of video players that you can't embed from the producer or panelist view. Anything that uses a traditional embed, an iframe, Flash sort of embed, any of the standard sort of video formats that are included are all supported. Either native embeds for HTML5 and such can also work, assuming that the browser that's showing that particular type of video can support that as well. But CoveritLive supports all of those. If for any reason it doesn't, you can tell very quickly by taking your embed and simply pasting it in to the producer, panelist, writer's block from the window, and then see if it shows up and plays like you expect it natively. If for any reason it doesn't, you can contact us and let us know, and we can look into specifics as to why and make adjustments as necessary to accommodate that. But so far, there's no known video players that aren't supported. In the case that there wouldn't be one, it's most likely something highly customized that we just haven't encountered before. But even in those cases, we can likely make it work pretty quickly if it doesn't work already.
And if you do have any questions, feel free to email support@CoveritLive.com, and we'll get back to you and help you troubleshoot any questions or issues you may be having around embedding video players. Reminder, you can click the green tab at the top of the screen into the chat window if you have any questions you'd like us to answer. We do have one question here related to Vine, and it's, can I search for Vine videos in the event studio?
Currently, you cannot search explicitly for Vine videos in the event studio. To the extent that they were included in a tweet and you're just searching general Twitter content, you can find them that way, and if you're searching, for example, because the Vine URL is included and things like that, there are ways to find those Vine videos just using the native Twitter search. But you can't search exclusively and explicitly for just Vine videos the way you can images and links and other things that we have in our Twitter capability. That is something on the roadmap that we plan to introduce down the road. The main limitation right now around that are the results, the quality of search results that come back, and the control we have over what we can search against Vine for. And that's more limiting right now than the standard Twitter search. And so therefore we just don't have the same flexibility, and that's a limitation on what's available from Vine and Twitter. Although we know that that's going to grow and change as that relationship grows and changes and expands. And so it is something we plan to have on the roadmap as soon as it's supported and the quality of results are good, like they are for Twitter, in such a way that we feel like we can introduce in the event studio and have it be a good experience. We did some early tests and also found some things strange where the results that were coming back from Vine were inconsistent, or they would cause problems whenever you were trying to display them. And we didn't want you to have a difficult or an unpleasant video experience because of things that we were getting back from the Vine search results. So we've left that out for now until those improvements are there on that side, and we can incorporate them in and feel confident that they work as well as the Twitter search does. Then we'll leave those out, but they are planned and anticipated in the near future.
So as Vine continues to grow and become more prevalent, look for CoveritLive to begin incorporating Vine even more deeply. Again, a reminder, if you want to send in any questions, you can jump up to the green tab at the top of the screen. Just questions sent from Deidre. What are the best methods for using Instagram?
That's a really good question, and I think that it depends a great deal on what type of event you're running. But there's a number of really excellent use cases, and some of them get very much beyond live blogging or just live chat. But starting there, obviously if you're covering some sort of current news event where something is happening, breaking news, or you have somebody out in the field, Instagram is a great way, just like Twitter, for including photos very, very rapidly. Because you can search by hashtag, you can have your journalists in the field, or even ask citizen journalists or people who are just participating to share their photos using a certain hashtag, and then you can search for that from within the event studio in Instagram, and then publish those that are appropriate. Obviously, hashtags can very easily get hijacked and can have inappropriate things, or the photo may be not the right context for what you want to provide. But nonetheless, that's an easy way to encourage people to share that content very, very quickly, and then embed that natively in the event by searching for that hashtag and then publishing just the items that are relevant or appropriate. There's a lot of examples of using Instagram in combination with Twitter and pictures from Twitter during hurricanes, during Sandy last year, during the recent outbreak of tornadoes in Oklahoma and in the Midwest in the past few months, the Boston bombing. There were all cases where reporters and journalists may not have been able to get there as quickly or didn't have instant on-site feedback for pictures or for video, but users did. And people could upload that to Instagram or tweet those, and knowing that they could do it to a certain hashtag would help inform others to see and grab those very quickly and put those as a part of a live news coverage or a breaking event coverage. And the same thing really goes with YouTube as well. It can be used very similarly. So that's one great example. But another example is even if, let's say, you're doing a promotion. Say you want people to share that they're reading something, or they're using some particular product, or they're using something that you've mentioned in a chat or in a Q&A, and you want to essentially reward and encourage people to share a bunch of photos that you can then publish because they'll be entertaining, amusing, and it's overall engaging for the audience. That's a great use case as well. You can tell people a certain hashtag to use, include that whenever you're first starting your event. Say, hey, if you use this hashtag and put that out on Instagram and or Twitter, we'll be mining those particular content entries, matching that hashtag, and we'll be featuring the best of those throughout the event. And that's a great way to encourage people to participate who otherwise might not write a comment or ask a question because it's just not their nature, or who don't necessarily feel like it's easy to engage or whatever. And they may be a very frequent Instagram user or Twitter user, and so giving them the option to say, hey, send us a picture, hashtag it with this, and if it's good or the best ones we'll include is a great option as well. And that can work really well if you're doing, say, an expert chat. Maybe you're talking about a product and people are asking questions about it, or they want to even show, hey, here's what I'm trying to do and trying to fix. Can you help me? Here's the back of my stereo receiver. Which plug do I use? Here's my phone. Which button do I push? Whatever it may be. So that's a great example. Or if you just want to say, hey, we want examples of people using this product in a cool and fun way, and we're going to feature those throughout a persistent live social stream, or even a social wall that you may want to build using CoveritLive. Those are all great examples and different ways that you can do it for a wide variety of activities.
Right, if you have any further questions, go ahead, green tab at the top of the screen, click on chat, and send those in.
And since we're checking to see if we have any other questions or follow-up, we'll do a quick reminder, let you know, inform you about the next CoveritLive session, a reminder that we will have an August session, and the date and time for that will be Thursday, August 22nd at 11 a.m. Eastern, same time as today. We'll be back on our regular Thursday spot for the end of the month, and we'll be covering the best practices for covering upcoming sports seasons, including college football, NFL, high school sports, as well as European football, soccer, and other things that will be going on. The fall obviously gets very active with football kicking off, and then later basketball, hockey, and we have a number of great features that we've added over the past year that help you cover those more efficiently and accurately. It can help you have a much more engaging experience for covering sports using CoveritLive.
I don't think we have any further questions. I'd like to thank Ben Schneider for a great presentation. We look forward to seeing you next time at CoveritLive University. If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to reach out, support@CoveritLive.com. But until then, we'll see you next month, Thursday, August 22nd at 11 a.m. Eastern, right here at CoveritLive University. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.